Chris. Oh. Okay.
Both.
We don't want everybody coming up.
Actually, I waved at him first, and you weren't looking, so I was waving at you. But I'm also saying hi to everyone.
Hello.
Doesn't care about you. That's what she's saying over there.
I don't.
Philip, don't
Are we on?
that mess.
Okay, guys, we got to get started.
I need some chili.
Is this microphone on?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So I would like to call to order the joint meeting, City Council meeting with the, and I'll also call to order the Charter Review Commission meeting as we engage in moving the city forward. I do have an item prior to that, and that is public comment. Is there anybody here wishing to make public comment?
Don't let that guy in the black jacket in the back say anything.
Trista? None? Okay, we having none, we will move on to the regular agenda item. And I think that as a city council, certainly we appreciate the fact that you guys have stepped up to volunteer to, again, shape the structure of the city of Pflugerville. As you know, the city charter is the guiding instrument for how this city operates, aside from all the administrative policies and so forth, but in general, affecting a number of areas. And so some of you have been on the Charter Review Commission previously, so thank you for coming back. I think there's 2 or 3 here. For those of you who have not, this is an exciting opportunity for you to actually dig down into the city charter. I know one of our former administrators, Mr. Bowles, I can't remember his first name, but he was a city administrator years ago. And he required that all city council members read the city charter. Of course, city charter has changed over the years, but again, that's kind of the defining document for the city of Pflugerville. So we welcome you certainly, and I think your charge from this city council, and then I'm going to let other council members chime in as well, is to, over the next few months, to review this document and not dissecting it, but at least looking at all the areas that have implications for change that are sometimes driven by statutory changes, which we've had in the past, legal changes, and then city staff probably has also put in some work on creating a checklist on some areas that could certainly help improving the operations of the city by affecting whatever charter section is appropriate for operating the city. So I welcome you. I certainly appreciate this opportunity for you guys to, again, come together over the next few months and continue to make Pflugerville a stronger city. Thank you. Anybody else?
Well, I think I want to echo, first of all, the mayor's thanks to all of you for volunteering for this job. You think our job is thankless, but you have our thanks. Many of the people in the city are not going to know what you've done, but they're going to see what you've done. There are a lot of old hands here. Several of you have been through this process more than once. Old guys help the new guys. You're going to do great things, and the city is going to be better after you're finished. Thank you all very much.
Oh, I did forget to mention, after this kind of formal ceremony here, our city attorney will be going through a number of specific points regarding the Charter Commission responsibilities and duties. So that'll happen after we adjourn.
Are we going in order? Yeah, I thank everyone for serving and being a part of the process. It's so important to have a variety of perspectives at the table when we're looking at this. So if we can come to agreement with all of those different perspectives, we have something good. The other things that I would just, love for you guys to look at, items regarding transparency and citizen participation, removing barriers for involvement, just having more items available for citizens who want to look at that information. And so just would hope that you'd look into some of those more deeply.
You like how I'm using the microphone, Trista? I'd say this to each and every one of you. You are about to embark on one of the most important things that are going to shape this city at one of its critical moments. Flat out speaking, you see the growth that's happening. You see the issues that are being addressed in and around our state. You see the issues and concerns that this council is looking at. This Bible, this document that you're working on, that is the substance for what we work on, is instrumental to what we're going to be able to do and operate on. And I can't thank you enough for being a part of this process. This doesn't work without each and every one of you. And looking out here, as Councilmember Ryan just articulated, you have about as diverse a perspective and viewpoint as you can get in this city, which is phenomenal, because that's what we want. We want the different ideas, concepts, everything else mold together, come together, the debates that come with it, done in a respectful fashion, of course, but nonetheless strong debates to be had here, because that's just going to make sure that our job, our opportunity for our citizens, not just your leaders, let's be honest, it's not just about us. I mean, it's the citizens at large are going to benefit from that. As somebody who's served on the Charter Commission before and also has been on this side, I guess it's the second time I've done this now, I've got to say that it is instrumental that you guys early on get who your presiding officers are and participate in the process. Something that disappoints us old people on here too often, I guess 1, 2, 3 old people too often, is when we put people on this board, which is so vital, and they don't show up for the meetings. And I just can't emphasize that, how that just changes the dynamics of the conversation. So if we took our opportunity to appoint you to this instrumental board, please make sure that you're able to show up for these meetings. An additional charge I would have for you is look at all the ideas, not just for the next 5 years, but for the next 10, 20 years. Where are we going? What are we missing out? What gaps and opportunities that you may look at that, hey, listen, these are things that are happening in other cities, etc. You literally have, the expert on city charters who literally wrote the book right here, on here, to help guide you and give advice on that. Take full advantage of that. Ask his viewpoint, his perspective about what he's seen, what has worked, what hasn't worked over there as well, and utilize that. You have an excellent staff and the city staff who has a variety of different perspectives too as well. Listen to what they're saying, because they may have from there. My personal charge in this would be for y'all to look at compensation for council members. I have seen that it's been an invisible barrier for many people to be on there. I mean, not everyone is able to go ahead and, in my case, just do 8, almost 9 years of pro bono work and, for another full-time job to do that as well. There are people who are in positions that I think are just as beneficial to be able to participate and be a part of this council, and be a part of the city, who that's an invisible barrier because they can't afford to be able to from compensation standpoint. Otherwise, be open to different ideas. Listen, not to just respond, and y'all have fun.
Yeah, have fun. That's good. Mayor Pro Tem.
Now, normally I would just pass because they've said it all. And you all didn't tell me I had to prepare anything. Yeah. This is such a beautiful sight to see. And I feel as well a great representation of our city, and I am so glad that each of you are here. My call to action would be to review every single line and take it seriously. And I want you to know that each of you are legacy builders. You are creating the infrastructure of what our future Pflugerville will look like, and how our city council operates. And once again, I just express my gratitude, as they have, for each of you being here and for your willingness to share of your time and to be fully focused on this charter review. For those who are coming after me.
Yeah, I don't think there's a whole lot else to add. I think everyone's been very, very eloquent. But I think what I do want to stress is, I'm sure each of you and each of us have the things that we are very passionate and care about. But I would just ask that everyone keep in mind the entirety of the city, and that you all are representing everyone in Pflugerville and beyond. And, to the extent that there might be long-standing things that you've wanted to do or always seen, think about how we don't necessarily just look backwards at things we wish we could have done better, but how do we take Pflugerville forward in a way that's responsible, equitable, inclusive, transparent, etc. And so I think that's really the only piece I wanted to add. Just, your work will ultimately reflect the values of our community, and so always keep the rest of the residents in mind.
And removing commas and ampersands are a real thing. So just something I'll laugh about that. Doesn't matter.
So let me say that looking out among the committee this evening, and I know a good number of you, really, I do, and I think some of you know each other, but what I really see is a very dynamic and involved and engaged membership here. I know that each one of you brings a certain characteristic, not just to this committee, but to this community. And I think that will play well in terms of your engagement with each other and how you come together. And hopefully the end game is that you do come together and move forward with the changes that are necessary to make this a better city. So thank you very much for joining us this evening. Our city attorney is now going to take over and kind of go through more of the legal details. I'm assuming, Charlie, they're legal details, but but a little more specific about some of the do's, don'ts, and the breadth and width of what you're charged with. So thank you very much, and I'll adjourn our city council meeting. Thank you.
Just in the back. Don't talk. Otherwise, they look at you.
Yeah.
What do you want, Councilmember Ryan?
Tracy, I'm gonna go this way so I can say hi to people on this side.
They know you don't love them.
So fake. Yeah. I saw your message. It's an hour later, but it would be here. I lost mine. I was supposed to do a mentoring meeting, but I
No problem.
When I see you out there chili.
I thought you was gonna contact me by Thanksgiving.
Put some jalapenos in there. We good.
I will wait for you to come. This is my wife said, come on, call. She said she was.
Thanks for serving. I haven't been through this process, so I'm just gonna be in a
Oh, no, not my chili. Oh, no. Chili, my chili. You just need some crackers.
Homebread.
Chili, some crackers, and some fucking bread.
Yeah. I don't know. Can I?
You got stuck.
I got stuck.
Oh, you're so soft. Today's my son's first one.
Hi, I'm Melody Ryan.
Melody.
I think you
Victor and I was supposed to be at the party tonight. I'm the commander.
You're not a big deal.
Let Mark take charge.
I know. That ain't bad.
Have you been on this committee? We're going to hang out back.
She got it.
A lot of stuff. I have an address in my That's exactly where I live.
I know where you live. I just I can't put it on the postcard. Yeah. Just have it on and talk about that, right?
Here, John's meeting on taking care of stuff. I know Terry doesn't care either way.
Then you have to point like a chair. That's the camera that y'all able to get it.
Thank you for serving.
Like that suit. How you doing?
Actually, from your hubby,
I'm trying to read this.
I never went back to see the date.
I'll try.
Hey, Tristan. Hey, Tristan. Can you turn up the heat?
I can't. I have no.
Well, who can turn up the heat?
We have asked.
We need to find out who that is.
Is it Doro? How are you? I'm Mark yours. Oh my goodness, great. How are you?
So I need to go to my truck to get my hunt. I got one.
I'm not worried about that.
Yeah. I mean, my legs are cold. Okay, let's get this party
Sure would
started.
love to get started.
Get out of here.
No, I'm trying.
Hear ye, hear ye, hear ye.
I'm kicking you out.
Kick him out, kick him out, please.
Listen to Charlie. That man gives good advice.
Okay, how does everybody?
We're all right.
Goodbye.
Bye. We're trying.
Y'all can stay. Serena. How are y'all?
Good.
Good. Excellent. My name is. I think it's perfect. Look what I'm wearing. How is everybody? Everybody's doing okay? Wonderful. My name is Charlie Zeck. My firm provides legal services to the city in the form of city attorney. I'm actually the named city attorney. A little bit about myself. I do not live in Pflugerville. I live in the city of New Braunfels. I've lived in the city of New Braunfels since 1972. So I've lived in this area for quite a while. I'm married. I've been married for, oh shoot, I shouldn't have said that out loud. I should think about it before I say it. My daughter's 35. I've been married 36 years.
Okay.
So I've been married 36 years to the same woman. I have 4 dogs. And that's 4 dogs too many, but apparently that's how many dogs it takes to replace a daughter when she goes off to college. On the more important side, I've been practicing municipal law since 2001. I've been a practicing lawyer since 1998. And I've been doing charter reviews, charter amendments, charter analysis, and litigation on charters since 2001. Just this year, I assisted 4 other cities to put home rule charter amendments on the ballot. They were on the ballot in November. They didn't all pass, but they're not all supposed to pass. And I've been doing it for a long time. I have a BBA in economics, a BBA in finance. I've got a master's in public administration. When I did that master's in public administration, it was a bit selfish, but I did a review of every single home rule charter in the state of Texas. I reviewed every single one of them, and I did a statistical analysis of the forms of government and how those charters are set up. I believe you were provided a copy of that document. It's from 2008, so it's kind of old, but honestly, those numbers really haven't moved that much over time. In addition, the other document you have, which is a TML document, my office assisted the Texas Municipal League in updating that document back in 2013, 2014, somewhere around there. And so I assist cities in setting up their home rule governments through home rule charters. I assist cities in amending their home rule charters. I assist cities in interpreting home rule charters, and that includes when they get involved in litigation. Almost every home rule charter litigation or dispute you've heard about in the state of Texas here in the last 4 or 5 years, I've been assisting behind the scenes. Austin, El Paso, San Antonio, all the large ones. So I know a little bit about charter work. That said, charters are a policy document, and we're going to talk about that just briefly for those. And I'm going to, right now, the next thing we're going to do is in 1 minute or less, because I want to talk about what charters are and what it means in the context of local government. But first, I want to know a little bit about y'all. There's a lot of y'all, so we don't want to be here all night. We want to get just a good introductory process. But so in a minute or less, could you give me your name, your occupation, your experience with local government, and your favorite Pflugerville restaurant? All right? And if it's a chain restaurant, then we're going to maybe kick you out. I don't know. We'll figure it out. All right? So if we could start here. So that's me. Everybody knows Trista, I assume? Yeah? City Secretary. Amazing. Goddess. All right? So we can start with you, Carol.
I'm Carol Titleman. I am a retired educator who's been working in politics since 1968. And my experience with city government actually has all been in Pflugerville, and I am a graduate of Pflugerville 101.
Fantastic.
And I was also on a prior charter review commission, and I love Pflugerville.
Great. Thank you, Carol. Oh, and I cannot pronounce Urcha?
Urcha is correct,
Okay.
but I use Ursha
Or shot.
because it sounds nicer. Anyway, so I'm a retired military veteran, 22 years in purchasing, federal government, 22 years with the city of Austin dealing with municipal government. I've lived here since 1990, raised 3 kids here, and my favorite restaurant right now, I don't know, I think it's Pecan Street Deli.
That's good. I'm with you. What branch of the government? Probably Air Force?
Air Force.
Air Force, right. And it's 22 years service?
22 years.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
I did 6 years in the Navy. Don't hold that against me.
I won't.
Jim.
Hey, good to meet you. Yeah, Jim. I'm an engineer, semiconductor engineer that works for AMD whole career. When I have to go in, it's a horrible commute to Southwest Parkway. It's only gotten worse. I have no previous experience with
city government at all?
city
Not at all.
government. Yeah,
This is your first
yeah,
first
yeah. I'm a
foray.
rookie. Yeah,
Welcome.
and
I'm
then
sorry that this is your first foray.
honestly, the 2 restaurants that came to mind are the ones the 2 ladies mentioned already for favorite in Pflugerville. I have to think about it more to say what's my favorite. I would have said a chain. I'm not very good.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Jamie.
Jamie. Yep.
With an M. Jamie.
Yeah, Jamie Coughlin. I am Director of Program Operations for the accommodations at Austin Community College, district-wide. So that's a new title.
And how long have you been there?
A month.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Originally, I worked at the law school at UT.
Alright,
and did their
wonderful.
accommodations. So.
I'm sorry also.
Love them.
That's all right.
Grew to, I should say.
Yeah, grew to.
Yes. I graduated from Pflugerville 101 recently this spring. Right? Wasn't I? Yeah. And my favorite restaurant is Victory Tap.
And so your experience with local government is basically
Pflugerville 101. And then disability rights, I should say.
Okay, but that's federal level.
Yeah.
That's Sam.
I'm Sam Alley. I am a financial director for a company that makes municipal electrical panels.
Oh,
So
wow.
a lot of the like
I didn't know
water-
that was a thing.
Yeah, it's a very specific, the big giant like relay racks and panels.
Wow, okay.
Go beans.
And then what else we got? So I just ran for city council unsuccessfully, but that was a fun experience. And I was on the
Is
board
that
of
your only
adjustment.
experience with local government, is running for city council?
I was also on the board of adjustment for 2 years, where we had, was it 1 meeting?
Yeah. Yeah, they don't meet a lot, but when they meet, it's really.
I wish I'd known that before I signed up
It's
for
a
it.
very, very important thing.
Yeah, that was the Execo meeting, so that was an
Yeah,
important
no,
meeting.
they don't meet a lot, but when they do, it's usually pretty intense. So that's great. Yeah. Your restaurant?
Probably Brotherton. I said like the best
Oh,
one.
I should. Can I change my answer?
No, you cannot.
It's not a lot of options, but Brotherton's definitely up there.
It's not up to me, it's up to the commission. It's what well, thank you. Josh.
Hi, I'm
You like it?
Joshua Ellis.
You by Josh or Joshua?
Either or.
Either or. All right, it says Josh.
You got something
Yeah.
better?
I'm backyard.
I am a high school social studies teacher. My experience with city government, this today. And I mean, I'm also involved in like local groups, but nothing directly with the city. And then my favorite Pflugerville restaurant, I like El Racon.
Which was one of it?
El Racon.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, it's good. Yeah.
Man, so Gregory Harrington, my occupation by degree has been software development, so computer science degree, but sales, 19 years at Dell, some years at IBM, pervasive software. But now I'm a starving entrepreneur, so that's what I'm doing now. So welcome to that life. And so pretty much you'll see my Cybertruck out there. I literally created a chauffeur service out of my Cybertruck, CT Transpo. But I got a whole lot of other businesses as well. Some motivational speakers is one that I really push. So experience with city government, officially none until, like I said, I ran for mayor.
You did?
Yeah, I was a mayoral candidate, lost. I came in third.
I don't.
You don't pay attention to it. It's all good. You don't need to.
I got to work for whoever is on sits up there. Makes no difference to me one way.
All good. So from a city government perspective, less of that, but more huge community guy. Literally founded a few organizations within this area: Back to School Parade, Black Professional Alliance. Served on a number of different boards in leadership. Like graduated in Leadership Austin way back in 2006.
Great.
Ascended Award recipient. So I figured the community.
So community activism is more sort of where you've gotten your involvement in local government.
Yeah, they call Barack Obama a community activist.
You're comparing it.
I pull that tag from him.
Are you trying to say you're Barack Obama?
I pull that tag from him.
You pull that tag.
I pull that tag from him. So huge community, and the reason, and honestly speaking, if I was to introduce myself, like what do you do? I say the phrase that pays with Dell, but my passion is for community. And so favorite Pflugerville spot. Man, I got a lot. He took Brotherton's. I love John. John was a good dude until he passed last year. So I guess I'm gonna go Tony's Jamaican spot.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
that's a good spot.
I have not heard of that. Now I'm gonna have to check that out.
Yeah, it's right there in 3 Points Plaza, whatever it's called.
I will check it out.
Right by the snow cone.
All right.
Yeah.
Thanks, Gregory. Did you go Greg or Gregory?
Greg's fine.
Greg's fine.
Yeah.
Great. Jolie or Jolly?
Have yourself a jolly Christmas.
Jolly.
Not to be forgotten.
Perfect time of the year for you.
My name is Jolly Williams. Currently, I do landscaping, but I've worked for Dell for 28 years, was a financial analyst, and was so happy to let that go.
Oh, yeah.
He back to entrepreneur.
You guys really missed
Imagine
that.
landscaping and out the open doors is a lot.
Outdoors has always been my passion. Even when I worked at Dell on the side, I did landscaping, so I've just done that full time now.
Great.
Far as experience with city government, this is going to be my first official assignment.
Okay.
Favorite Pflugerville restaurant? I'm gonna say my backyard when I.
That's too easy. No,
when I fire the pit up.
You do not get that. You got. You do
When I
not
fire
get
the
that.
pit up, it's my backyard.
That's cheap.
Which is often.
That's cheap.
Get into your backyard.
Follow the smoke like all my other neighbors. Like all my other neighbors
That's
do.
cheap.
They know when to come over. The pit's going.
Where are you in Tully?
I'll
Gallenberg.
accept that answer.
El Rico.
El Recon. Okay, that's too pro. Tracy.
All right, my name is Tracy Negrete. I currently work at Dell.
Oh.
I don't know how
I'm
our
sorry.
paths haven't crossed. I've been there for 27 years in finance. I know.
And out there 19. I ain't never seen
You're
anyone
gonna
do
be
that.
so happy.
I enjoy my job. But I do learning and development. So I work in finance, but I do learning and development for finance people. So let's see. I graduated PF 101 with Jamie last May. And my favorite Pflugerville restaurant, I have to lean on chains because I have 2 food allergies, and a lot of our local restaurants don't accommodate very well. So, back before, Pecan Street Deli was our family favorite, hands down. We went there all the time. We've lived in Pflugerville for over 25 years, and like back in the original location of Pecan Street Deli, before it was Pecan Street Station, like that was our place to go.
All right. And so your experience in local government is
Yep, 101.
All right. Barbara.
Cool. Barbara Nagata, the occupation is such a loaded question. So technically, I'm a tutor for SAT and ACT English reading and writing in my spare time, but I rarely have spare time. So I'm really your local residing perpetual volunteer. I do a lot of different things in our community. I've been in Rotary for over 11 years now, and I love it. I've done a lot with Rotary. Beyond our club, I'm chief of staff for our incoming district governor. I'm an assistant governor. I've been on our board. I've just a lot of different. So I've been on a lot of boards and commissions. So this is fun. But the experience with city government, I guess I've been involved in local politics from my hometown from like 9 years old. I'd helped my mom make cold calls for candidates, and I've been doing that all for a very long time.
Here locally?
Now, locally, I do get involved with local politics.
Where
I've helped
was the other
several.
place?
Kingsville.
Kingsville, okay.
Yeah. But other city government, I was on the Board of Adjustments for 6 years and the chair for a huge chunk of that. So
Zoning Board of Adjustments is one of the most important
it is.
boards in the city, in my opinion, because for those of you who don't know, it doesn't meet very often. When it does, though, it meets about a specific piece of property and directly affects somebody's, allegedly argue whether it's property rights or not, but directly affects how they can use their property specifically. So, and it's a really tough board to sit on because you have to make hard choices for your friends and neighbors. So,
Absolutely.
thank you for sharing.
Favorite restaurant, I would say Growler Bar.
Okay.
Yeah.
Growlers.
Wonderful.
What's the name of that?
Terry, how are you? Good
Hey, how's it going? Terry Niesel. And, it's right there.
Growler.
And I used to work for AMD for many years, so I know that Southwest Packageway thing. I now work at home. I've been working for Apple as a design engineer.
So Apple, as opposed to
Dell.
Yeah. And
we love you too,
I
man.
design power management chips for Apple iPhones, and been doing that I've been a chip designer for 28 years now. But as far as what I've done, I was on the one of the bond committees. I was on the Downtown East Stakeholders Committee. This is my second time on this one. I initially got in politics back in 2004 with anti-politics, I should say. I was with Sal Castillo. I was one of the founding members of the Austin Toll Party.
Very good.
And my favorite restaurant probably be Tin Gens. Tin Gens, I think is how
T-Gens?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, TJ. Yeah.
It's
It's right there in the
Chinese.
domain.
I love Chinese food. So.
Not domain, the Stone Hill.
Philip.
Sendejas is my last name.
Sendejas.
I'm.
I like the Z in the last name.
That's it, Sendejas. I am been in Pflugerville since 2004. I haven't been involved in any kind of politics except for working for different campaigns, just helping out. I retired from Greyhound Bus Company 12 years ago, and I worked there 47 years.
Whoa, what'd you do? Administration, mechanic, driver?
No, I was in management.
Management?
I worked Houston, San Antonio, Laredo, New Orleans, you name it. I've been around.
Okay.
And ended up in Austin. I did my last 10 years here in Austin. And so we moved to Pflugerville. I'm a veteran. I'm the commander of the American Legion post here in Pflugerville. I'm also the treasurer of the Disabled American Veterans. And I'm happily married, I think.
Is she?
It's all about your perspective. Your perspective is the only one that matters.
Philip, you know you are.
And my favorite restaurant is La Casita, which is...
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
It's they've done some really good stuff for the veterans. So that's why we
I'll definitely have to check that out. What range did you serve at?
I worked. I was in the United States Army.
Okay.
I was a personnel management specialist, and I have no ties to any city of never done anything with the city.
No local government
No.
stuff before. Okay. Wow, we've got a lot of news.
Yep.
Macy.
Yes, sir. I'm recently moved to the private sector. I spent about 20 years working in the public sector, for the state and the federal government in healthcare, and now I'm working for a digital healthcare company. I have no experience with city government. This is my first time kind of dipping my toe in.
Pflugerville 101.
I'm not done.
No.
No.
Okay. All right. Good for you.
Yeah.
Newbies.
Yeah, that's right. My favorite restaurant is Taco House.
Taco House. All right. Can I ask a quick question? I don't want to keep everybody, but what is digital health? I have no idea what digital is.
Yeah, so we have a digital blood pressure program that we sell to self-funded health plans.
All right.
That helps people manage their blood pressure from anywhere. So.
All right. Okay. I love that. That's great. Sherry.
Hello. I am Sherry Marshall, of course. My occupation is I'm retired military as well.
Okay. What?
Air Force National Guard.
Air Force National Guard.
I was finance and accounting.
All right.
For 26 years.
For you.
When I retired, I did a little stint at Dell.
Well, it's not surprising.
The thing of it is, they thought I was still in the military. They want to tell me when to come to work. How long. No. I'm done. I've already been there. Anyway, I am now a serial entrepreneur. I own 2 companies.
That makes 2 serial entrepreneurs.
Yes, I own a commercial janitorial company.
Oh.
It's called You Move It, We Clean It, commercial janitorial, based out of Pflugerville. We've been in business for 26 years now.
My goodness.
And yeah, I started that some time ago. And then I also teach the notary public training, the Secretary of State. So all notaries, I mean, I'm busy all the time doing notaries because there's not many that keep doing it. And so I stay busy with that. I am the president of Top Ladies of Distinction, the capital city chapter out of Austin.
Okay.
And I can go on and on. Pflugerville, I'm on the board for the Pflugerville Chamber of Commerce.
Okay.
And what else I got for you? Oh, I worked on the MBE, WBE for the city of Austin for 4 years.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. And that was a challenge.
Yeah.
Because you got all those people that want to come in and get all the contracts all the time.
Yeah.
But that was a good experience.
Good.
And my favorite restaurant is 54th Street.
54. Nancy.
Yes, I'm Nancy Ramsey. I am retired from the state of Texas, systems analyst. I've been retired about 5 years. My past experience with city government was I was on Planning and Zoning Commission about 10 years ago. Yeah, and then politics involved in canvassing for candidates, for city candidates. Yeah.
All right. Okay.
And state and federal. And my favorite restaurant, I would say
And Mr. McDonald.
Jim, I own a bar. I actually own the best wine bar in Pflugerville.
Do they have food there? Does it cost
we have snacks.
less than
We got
more than
snacks.
51% on sales?
It's right by Gotta be more. Yeah, we're above the line. Let's see, I served on council for 6 years. I chaired the Charter Commission 5 years ago. Experience, yeah, a little bit of experience with government. Also, in addition to bar, I did some lobby work. I was a registered lobbyist for a couple of years. Was able to carry a bill on its first pass all the way to the House floor, so that was pretty exciting. Favorite Pflugerville restaurant? You know, I struggle between Ellery and Cone because they're next door, with Rex because they have the best catfish in town. But I got to go with Bamboo Bistro because they're open at 3 o'clock in the morning. That's important.
And where the located?
I didn't know that.
All right.
Right next to Raising Cane.
Thank y'all very much for taking the time. I think it's important for all of y'all to get to, at least just briefly at least know each other's names and just little unimportant things about who we are, what our favorite restaurant is. I'm going to talk real quickly. Well, not quickly. I don't want to spend a lot of time on it, but I do think, given the number of people who don't have experience in local government here, I might spend a couple minutes than I normally would. We have folks who have spent a lot of time in local government on the foundational concepts. So, how many types of cities do we have? Not you. You can't answer. Terry, you can't answer. I think everybody else can. I would allow to answer. How many different types of cities do we have in Texas? Anybody have any idea how many different types of cities we have in Texas? Any clue?
Two.
Two? I mean, don't be afraid to guess. I mean, two.
4 to 5?
Two.
It's probably
Two.
more than 2.
5, huh?
It's probably about, I can think of at least 5 different
5.
towns. Because I'm assuming you're talking like people that call a town like township and.
Nope, but I like where you're going. So, there is, we're going to call it 4 different kinds of cities in the state of Texas. All right? There's a Type A general law city. There's a Type B general law city. There's a Type C general law city. And there is a home rule city. Pflugerville is a home rule city. Now, a Type A, it gets kind of nuanced, but a Type A and a Type B general law city are both city council forms of government. You've got a city council and a mayor, right? A Type C form of government is actually a commission form of government. They technically, under the law, it's 2 commissioners and a mayor. That forms the entire governing body. 2 commissioners and a mayor. There's a couple cities that are kind of weird that by some lawsuits, they've got 5 commissioners and a mayor, but under the statute, it's 2 commissioners and a mayor. And interestingly enough, you don't see that form of government very much anymore. Little piece of trivia, commission form of government was first established ever created in the entire United States in Galveston, Texas. Galveston, Texas created a commission form of government because, I don't know if you remember this, somewhere back in the early 1900s, I think it was 1900, they had this thing called a hurricane that pretty much wiped out the entire city. Back then, Galveston was like this close probably to becoming the capital of the state of Texas. Galveston was actually being considered as the capital of the state of Texas. It was a huge shipping, shipping port, lots of activity. Hurricane wiped it out, and they needed a form of government that would help them put the city back together. So they created a commission form of government. And essentially, it's kind of like the county, right? One commissioner handled all the finances, one commissioner handled all the engineering projects, right? And the mayor did his or her thing. And it worked really well to put the city of Galveston back together. But it also was pretty easy to corrupt. And so it spread across the United States like wildfire, but then also contracted like wildfire because it was pretty easy to corrupt that form of government. So Texas, Type A, Type B, Type C, and home rule. Now, there's a big difference between Type A, Type B, and Type C, but there's also a big difference between those 3 and a home rule city. All right? This is all very high level, really high level stuff, all right? So a Type A, Type C government in Texas, they're called general law cities. They're called general law cities because you have to look to the general laws of the state of Texas for authority to do it. You have to look to the statutes for how it's created. You look to the statutes for how many council members you have. You look to the statutes for if it's a council manager form of government or a commission form of government. You look to the statutes for how the elections are held. You look to the statutes for everything. If you want authority to do anything as a general law city, you have to look to the Texas legislature to give those cities that authority. If it's not written in a book somewhere, or can be somewhat inferred from something that's written in the book. A general law city can't do it. Right? A home rule city, on the other hand, has all the power of the Texas legislature, except where preempted by the Texas legislature. So a general law city looks to the local laws for any power and authority that it has. A home rule city only looks to the legislature to determine what it can't do. And so its charter lays out the foundation of its authority. That's laid out in the home rule charter. In order to become a home rule form of government, you have to have at least 5,000 in population. If you don't have 5,000 in population, you can't become a home rule city. Right? Once you hit 5,000 in population, then you can, there's a different variety of different ways you can do it. City council can do it on its own motion, or there can be a petition by the citizens, and they can, then you hold an election. You create a charter, a commission, like yourself, only for the purposes of creating the charter, gets together, they create the charter goes in front of the citizens, and the citizens vote on it. And you create a home rule charter. So that's the major difference between type A basic general law cities and home rule cities. It's a very important distinction because a home rule city has all the power of the Texas legislature, except where preempted. So except where the Texas legislature has decided they want to take power away, which they have been doing a lot of. Under the last legislative sessions, if you would all follow what goes on after the state house. So that's a very high overview of the differences between general law cities and home rule cities. Any questions about that? And probably 1,000, but that's a real high overview of the difference.
Kind of going to the conversation I mentioned about township, is just those, when I guess go back with the 4 that you just described, is that Texas or that's U.S. based terminology? So
Texas.
So those are Texas. So other states might have different definitions.
Yes.
Of how many cities?
Cities are creatures of the state. And so it's the state that gives authority to create municipalities, to create cities, villages, towns, townships, counties, right? Counties in the state of Texas also have to look to the Texas legislature for their authority to do anything. So same with counties, if it's not written somewhere, a county can't do it. So a county has to look to its authority. But every state has its own system of how its municipalities, its cities, its villages are set up.
You just use those 3 terms. So let's say, for example, within these states, you have city, town, blah, blah, blah. Is there a certain attachment to the city nomenclature that you use, and town, city, and village?
Not anymore. Not anymore. It used to be a long time ago. That's why you hear sometimes village of Wimberley or something like that. There used to be, but not anymore. Now it's a type A, type B, type C, home rule. Those are the only real nomenclatures that carry any legal weight. Cities nowadays, like Wimberley, well, then Wimberley, everybody went to Wimberley. Like I'm city attorney for Wimberley, population 2,300. You wouldn't think of it as a city, right? But they officially changed their name to city. It has no legal bearing on what their power and authority is. What matters is that Wimberley is a type A general law city. That's what matters.
So out of these 4 that you mentioned, do we know what kind of charter we want to build here?
Well, so yeah, that's a great question. So out of those 4 that I mentioned, the city of Pflugerville is a home rule city.
Home rule.
You are a home rule city. And and we're going to go through, in a home rule charter is adopted by the citizens. All right, that's the key. Remember, the general law cities that I talk about, those aren't adopted by the citizens. There's an election to create the city, right? But that's it. You look at the general laws to determine what you can do and what you can't do, how many council members there are, what the terms are. Is it a council manager form of government? Is it a council mayor form of government? Look to the laws, the statutes for that. In a home rule city, you look to the home rule charter. And Pflugerville is a home rule city, and we have a charter. And your function today, as a result of our charter, which requires this commission to be set up every 5 years to review the charter. That's a requirement of our charter. It's weird, right? Our charter has a requirement that we put you folks together to review the charter to determine if any changes need to be made. You may determine no changes need to be made. I don't know. Like, y'all are going to go through that debating process and make that determination. So Pflugerville is a home rule city. So what's the purpose of this commission? So as I stated, right, it's been appointed by the city council pursuant to the charter, section 11.11. And the requirement is that y'all inquire into the operations of city government and review the city charter to determine whether it requires a revision. You're required to set up your own rules of procedure. You have to have a quorum in order to operate. A quorum would be how many other?
The quorum is 10 for the.
So someone do the math on that.
Say it's the majority of us.
It says 10 in our document.
Oh, it does?
How many of us divided by 2 plus 1?
That's 9.
Oh, was
She's seen
it?
the document.
So a quorum is, how many are there, 19?
17.
There's 17, so it's got to be 9. 9 constitutes one. So at least 9 of you have to show up to a meeting in order to conduct it. All right? And a majority of those present and voting is what's necessary to adopt something. So even if there's 17 people on the committee, if only 8 people show up, 9 people show up, thank you. If only 9 people show up, 5 of those 9 have to vote in favor of something in order for it to be adopted.
Got it.
Okay? So the more of you that show up, the more of you participate, the greater consensus we'll have in the recommendations, if any, that go to council. Okay, this is right out of the charter, so I'm just going to read it, okay?
Okay.
Inquire into the operations of city government and review the city charter to determine whether it requires revision. Public hearings may be held, and the commission shall have the power to compel the attendance of city officers or employees and to require the submission of city records necessary to its inquiry and review. The commission shall hold a minimum of 6 and a maximum of 8 meetings, 2 of which shall be jointly held with the city council to discuss the proposed meetings. You are to propose any recommendations that it deems desirable to ensure compliance with charter provisions by city departments. Propose any charter amendments it deems desirable to improve the effective application of the charter to the current conditions of our government and our community. And make a written report of its findings and recommendations to the city. Do they have a copy of the charter? Read it if you haven't. I don't know what your beverage of choice is, but I'm a maker's guy right now, so you know. But yes, read it. It's obviously, you're going to be reviewing it and discussing it to make sure that So the council shall receive and have published in the city's official newspaper the Charter Review Commission's final report. So the final report we provide that y'all adopt will be published, and they shall consider any recommendations, and if any amendments are presented, shall order the amendment or amendments submitted to the voters of the city. So 2 things come out of this, right? Recommendations into the operations of the city. That's 1, right? Based on the charter. Those are just recommendations. Council can take them, not take them, agree with them, not agree with them. But if you have proposed amendments that you believe should go on the ballot for the citizens to consider, if you recommend that an amendment go forward, City Council must place that on the ballot for the consideration of the citizens. Right?
How specific does the amendment have to be? Is it like every possible change that we propose has to be its own separate amendment, or is it like a
great question
aggregate?
Yeah, great question. So the law says that amendments can't have to be limited to a single subject matter. That doesn't mean that it's a single amendment. It could be multiple amendments to multiple different sections of the charter in one change, right? A bunch of different actual amendments, but it can only be one subject.
Gotcha.
So again, Pflugerville is a home rule city, authorized by the Constitution. Oh, and I didn't mention that. The reason why we have home rule cities is because in 1912, the Texas legislature got really sick and tired, well, a little before 1912. Before general law cities, before home rule cities, if you wanted to be a city in Texas, you had to go to the legislature and ask them to create a special law to create the city. That's how cities got created first. Waited till legislatures in session, you went and asked permission, they created the city. That's how a lot of cities were created by special law in Texas, right? Then they got tired of having to make all these special law cities, so they created the general law cities, right? That you can now, okay, you don't have to come to us every time, you follow you do A, B, and C, you can become a city. And then in 1912, they created the Home Rule Charter Amendment to the Texas Constitution that authorizes the creation of home rule cities. So that's under the Texas Constitution. Any amendment to the charter must be submitted to the voters for their approval. And a charter can only be amended once, well, not once. It can only be, once. It can only be amended once every 2 years. Now, it can have multiple amendments at that election, but once an amendment occurs, you can't amend it again for another 2 years.
2 years.
And that's weird because there's actually a case on point that talks about it. We don't usually get those, we do in this county. Let's assume the election was on May the 7th to amend your charter. And you have at that election, you have an amendment that passes. And then in 2 years, the next election is May 8th, you can't hold an election because it's not 2 years yet.
If you have an amendment that fails 1 year, you can't propose it for the next year or within.
Yes. So assuming you didn't have it, assuming nothing passed. If you had an amendment passed on May 7th, year one, and you had another one that failed, you couldn't do another one until May 7th, 2 years later.
The charter can only change every 2 years.
Yes.
The reason I asked that question was because what Rude was talking about, the city council pay, we had that, an election on that just recently. And it was a charter amendment, and it failed. So would that be something that we could actually address in this?
Yes. Did we have an election last year?
2 years ago?
So we're fine. Yep. Yes.
Yes.
Thank you for that.
Do I sound like I'm in a box? I'm an engineer.
Engineer, of course. All right. Any other questions about amendment and when it can be amended, when it can't be amended? Every 2 years.
Hey, going back, the only question I had was going back to the previous slide you mentioned. It has to be posted in the city's newspaper.
The report does.
What newspaper does Pflugerville have? The flag.
Yeah. The what?
Oh, within the Austin Statesman.
Yeah, it's the Pflugerville flag is the official newspaper of the city. They're part of Austin American Statesman.
Oh.
So it's lost. So could that be a change that we can make? Just we're in a digital world.
That's driven by state law.
For real?
But I guess are you saying, can you change what the city's official newspaper is?
Yeah, because I'm just thinking to myself, it's like we all consume. Nobody would know to look in the Austin American Statesman for Pflugerville.
I didn't.
You know what I mean? And I would, matter of fact, the annual report sounds even more.
Change that.
Or even though impact is even better if we would.
That's absolutely something
Nobody would.
You can see it at the library. I mean, once
I
upon a
just
time
rather-
you could subscribe to it, and it became a pain in the butt
No, I
when
mean
you had
the
to be the
charter
statesman
says
in order to get the Pflugerville flag. But you can get it online.
Yeah, I
You can
just.
change it. Yeah.
Yeah,
When we get to that,
just something more modern is
end.
really what I was thinking. Something digital or accessible alone that's controlled by us. You know.
That is something that could be changed. There's a lot of publication requirements that cannot be changed because it's driven by state law. You'd be surprised how strong the Texas newspaper lobby is. It has requirements in state law that they publish things in newspaper. So,
I think we're talking about two slightly different things. But the charter says that it has to be in a newspaper, but doesn't name the newspaper. That newspaper is named in another document. So you can change whether or not it's posted in the newspaper, but not
yes.
which newspaper. Something that council has done.
Yeah, and I think one of the reasons I mention that is because coming from me working at Dell, I work with state local government organizations. A lot of the bids they had to be posted publicly, but it wasn't specific to a newspaper. Like they could have posted on the website, that'd have been public location. I think that's. So, are you saying that the Texas state law says it has to be specifically a newspaper, or does it have to?
No. So,
Or could it be like our website? You know.
I'm going to back up. So the provision that was on the slide before is a provision out of our charter. That provision says that the report must be published in a newspaper. Y'all can change that. You can change it to say that it must be published in a specific newspaper. You can change it to say that it has to be published online and doesn't have to be published in a newspaper. You can change all of that, right? There are other certain publication requirements that are not addressed in the charter that you don't have any control over because it's driven by state law.
But if we were to change it, it would still have to be published in the newspaper before it was changed because it hasn't been changed.
The newspaper that nobody knows about.
Yeah, that is that, and we're only talking about the report.
Yep.
That's the only thing that was on the slide, is the report. So what you're here to do as a group is to conduct a comprehensive review of the charter, identify these provisions, outdated or inconsistent with the law, inefficient or unclear in governance structure. If it's in need of modernization, maybe you do, maybe you won't. I just had an election where the ballot measure was to revise the charter to be gender neutral, which meant instead of it saying the city attorney, I don't remember what it said, it was he this, he this, he this, he this, he this. And the charter committee wanted to say instead of he, they just wanted it to be gender neutral. They didn't want it to say he or she. But apparently it got all crosswise at the election, and everyone thought that it was all about all sorts of other gender issues.
It turned into a cultural debate.
So yeah, it became a cultural debate, and so it failed, believe it or not. But so modernization of language, procedures, timing, things of that nature. Those are the things you want to be looking at. How do we make it a better document if there's a way to make it a better document. And then of course any amendments, substantive amendments that will need to go to the citizens for consideration.
When's the last time it was changed? Updates?
2023, November 2nd, 2021.
2021?
In the charter.
Was that charter review committee?
No, it says 2023, November 7th. Oh, okay, I see 2021. But was it in?
That's what I'm guessing. That was already 5 years, yeah.
I don't know how that's supposed to be done in 6 years.
Oh,
Page 2 at the bottom.
Go to the
So 2021 was the last charter review
kind of
committee.
looking through, I'm like, that's a lot.
2023 was the last time we had a charter amendment.
Gotcha. Oh, I see it here.
How do we do an amendment without a commission?
City Council has the authority to, on its own motion, place an amendment on the ballot. Also, the citizens have a right to petition to have an amendment be placed on the ballot.
Does that mean the council could block the commission from doing amendments if they do one within 2 years of when the commission wants to do it?
Well, no, I don't think so. It just means that it would have to. So let's assume a nefarious city council. All right, let's make that assumption. Not with this one, but let's just make an assumption of a nefarious city council. They know a charter review commission is coming up. And they know that that charter review commission is maybe gonna put something on the ballot that they don't wanna see. So, completely nefarious, right? So they decide they wanna put something on the ballot in order to get a charter amendment so that the charter can't be amended for 2 years. They could do that, 100%, but not but. And so it would block it from going on the ballot, you know, that year, right? But it wouldn't block it from going on the ballot permanently, because council is required under the charter to place it on the ballot if the charter committee recommends it. So they could delay it for 2 years, but they couldn't block it. Did that answer your question?
I think so. They couldn't just sneak another one in before they put it on.
They could sneak one on there before that. But if I was their lawyer and they said, we're gonna do another one but not do the charter committee, my legal advice is you can't do that.
Okay.
Or whatever my legal advice is, which is sometimes a nickel and 1980 in a Whataburger cup, you can get a cup of coffee. Am I the only remember the nickel Whataburger?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, sir.
I have a silly question. Silly question. First time here, so just kind of want to understand. So we, as a quorum here, is going to go through all 11 items within 11 articles.
Yep.
That's up to y'all.
That is correct.
One, last time we went through each one line by line. Yeah, that's why we meet
Not
several
in one
times.
meeting.
No, we spent several months doing it.
So great question. So that's
Homework need to be done.
It's up to this body as to how you want to review it. Within the confines of what the charter says you are to do, and within the confines of the number of meetings that you are in. At least 6, no more than 8. So if you don't get done with your work in 8 meetings, you're done, because you can only meet 8 times, all right? So it's up to y'all as to how you want to conduct this review. To your point, Terry, I've had commissions go through the charter line by line. I've also had them just go by a section and go, this section is boilerplate, there's no need to review this line by line, so let's go to the next one. I've also had commissions ask the committee members to say, is there something you'd like to look at specifically? And then you jump to those things first, and then you go through it. So it's completely up to you. It's completely up to you.
At what point do you suggest completely new stuff to be added to the charter as opposed to going through what's there?
Oh, just filling out
That's
that
something.
question.
That's something we didn't do last time. We kind of did on a couple of things. On a few things that we did.
I mean, I think my personal opinion is that if that's something that if this body chooses to say we want to give every member of this commission an opportunity to make a recommendation to change the charter, whatever that might be, and adding of a new section, adding of new language, whatever that is, that should probably be accomplished at the beginning if you want to have enough time to debate it. If it's done at the end, I don't know that you would necessarily have enough time to thoroughly debate the issues to determine whether or not it's a change that the body wants. But again, that's something that this body will determine. Y'all are going to do. I'm not going to determine that. Y'all are going to determine. We're going to appoint a chair. We're going to appoint a vice chair. They're going to put these things on the table for discussion, right? And then you guys are going to make decisions about it. Just don't forget, the more time we spend on process and procedure, the less time you're going to have to debate the substance of the issues that you're here to debate. So we want to try to be as efficient as we can. Any other questions? No? Good. Y'all operate under the Texas Open Meetings Act. Are we requiring them to take the Okay, all right. Let me tell you this. Y'all are required to operate under the Texas Open Meetings Act. I would highly recommend that y'all not discuss anything that you do in this meeting, outside of this meeting, with each other. discuss it with your friends, discuss it with your family, discuss it with, I would even discuss it with council members, citizens, but don't discuss it with each other.
Don't discuss it with each other?
Not outside this meeting.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Not outside this meeting,
Gotcha.
all right?
Do we have to sign an NDA?
No.
No? Okay.
No.
I'm just asking.
I just really simplified it, like, I mean, technically, you can talk with it for 6 or 7 people, but I don't wanna get into the business of counting, and I said, we're right. I know what your head was thinking.
Not say a word.
Alright. So outside of this meeting, don't discuss what happens in this meeting outside of this meeting. Wait for those discussions to occur. Talk to your friends about it, your neighbors, whatever, but not with each other, alright? Because we have to comply with the Texas Open Meetings Act. There's certain requirements that Tristan and I will have to make sure we comply with, but we'll do that on our end. But for your purposes, don't discuss it with anybody, with any of y'all outside of this meeting. And are you gonna send them a link to the, and she's gonna send a link to you to take the Open Meetings Act training. How long does it
I
last?
take that before.
It's a 1-hour video you gotta watch.
I had to take that before.
Alright.
Get password and all that good stuff.
And then at the next meeting, if there's any questions about it, we can take 10 minutes and discuss it. All right. These are open meetings. I don't know how much public we'll have. My experience is that we have very little public at Charter Commission meetings. Very little. That's my experience. But they're open to the public. We need to be transparent. Of course, public comment and community input are always encouraged, but ultimately, y'all are the deciding body. Y'all are the commission. Okay, this is for me. This is the important part as far as the process is concerned. Okay, respect and civility in our discussions. We're all friends here. We're all community. I'll even go so far as to say we're all family, right? Respect and civility. Focus on the charter as a government's document, not day-to-day politics. Remember, the charter is essentially the constitution of the city. It creates the framework for how government is supposed to operate. There's a difference between ordinances, which enact legislation, and a charter, which creates the framework under which our government operates. All right? So focus on the charter as a governance document, as opposed to day-to-day politics. Do not make change for change's sake. Don't look for a change. Don't look to make a change to the charter. All right? If there's not a problem, that's a good thing. If our form of government is working well, that's a good thing. All right? We don't necessarily have to place an item on a ballot in order to feel like we accomplished something. The accomplishment could be, we went through this thing with a fine-tooth comb, and we think it's working great. All right? It could also be, we went through this with a fine-tooth comb, and we think we need to add these 4 things. All right? It could be any of those things. All right? But not change for change's sake. Decisions should reflect the long-term interests of the community. This is where I say, this isn't about what you want. Carol, Jim, Gregory, Jim. It's not about what you want, what you think is right. This is about, is something important enough? Is a change necessary that should be placed in front of the community for their consideration to vote on? Because ultimately the citizens are making the decision as to whether or not the change should be made. It's very easy to get all wrapped up in our personal beliefs about what we think should occur, as opposed to what's in the best interest of the community and what is important enough to be brought forward to the community for their consideration. Because ultimately, how many people do we have vote in this election?
Not enough.
Call it 9,000 people?
The runoff or the primary?
Call it 50. I'll call it 5,000 because I'm terrible at math, even with my finance and economics degree. But ultimately, 2,501 people are going to have to reach. Right? That's how many people you have to convince. Right? So the decisions should reflect the long-term interests of the community, not what you think you want. I mean, what you want plays into it. Obviously, I'm not trying to downplay that. I'm just trying to make sure everybody makes sure that that shouldn't be your sole driving factor. And then consensus is encouraged, but it's not required, obviously, all right? 50.1% is what's required to make a proposed amendment. But differing perspectives and strengthens the process. Like, I love to hear just all sorts of differing opinions and ideas, because this is what I've learned in my 20-some years in local government, is that if we open our ears to other ideas, we will often find out that maybe the other person had a valid point and is worth listening to, and perhaps then changes our idea about what we thought was the best idea, and then maybe we have a discussion and a debate, and they open their ears to your different decisions, and all of a sudden we get to what? The best idea, right? So open up our ears, listen. I love to hear all those different perspectives. I don't get the impression from anybody in here that anybody's going to be afraid to open their mouth. And that's good. So long as, again, we do it with respect and skill.
Question.
Yes, sir.
I'm just going to ask this because that's just who I am. Will you be presiding all these meetings?
I will be at all these meetings.
Okay, so you'll help drive our discussions?
I will help facilitate, not drive. I don't like that word drive.
Okay, you'll help facilitate our discussions.
I'm going to say this, all right? I don't care what's in your charter. I literally don't care. I don't live in Pflugerville. I live in New Braunfels. I care what's in the New Braunfels charter.
But you work for our city council though, right?
But I'm sorry?
You work for our city council?
I do work for your city council.
So by working for the city council, where I'm going with that, wouldn't that be a little conflicting?
He's answering legal questions for
He
us.
has to be neutral.
I'm just asking.
No.
I'm just asking. Not trying to throw a dart. I'm just asking.
Bring it on, 100%. Throw all the darts you want. I've been doing this a long time.
Okay.
It's totally fine. No, there's no conflict.
Okay.
You know why? Because my job is to make sure what you do is legal. And
Okay.
legal to you is legal to them. Legal doesn't change from one to the other. All right? And I also tell folks this. So I'm city attorney for 60 cities in the state of Texas. Probably. I have a law firm. We've got 4 offices all across the state of Texas. And I always tell people I don't care what they do. They're like, why do you tell that to your client? It's because I don't. What I want is for them to do is to be legal. And here's what I tell my associates, and this goes directly to your point. If I give legal advice, I tell my associates, if we get fired from a client because we gave solid legal advice, I'm applied. I don't care if I get fired from a client or give solid legal advice. You know why? Because I got another 59 out there, and it doesn't matter to me. Here's what matters to me, is that y'all and they get solid legal advice. That's all I care about. That's it. Nothing else, literally nothing else matters to me. Because all I have is my reputation and my knowledge. That's it. I've got those 2 things. My knowledge, I don't have a lot of control over. I'm almost 60. That's probably going to deteriorate here in a little while. Given you should see my mom.
I'm taking offense to that.
I have complete control. I have complete control.
Thank you.
Great question. Love it. I knew I wasn't going to be wrong about people aren't afraid to ask. Okay, so look, this is a really important. Remember, I think earlier I said how important I thought the ZBOA was, Zoning Board of Adjustment. This is probably, in my mind, those two are the two most important committee and commissions. Zoning Board of Adjustment and this one. Because of the effect that it has on the community. They're just that important. All right. So we have to appoint some elect officers for the Charter Review Commission.
I'd like to make a motion to appoint Sam Alley as chairman and Jim McDonald as co-chairman.
Debate?
Tell us why.
What's the basis?
I think they're two different spectrums of two different totally viewpoints, and I think they can work together.
So you said so to pick that further, you said co-chairman versus I think this was saying having a chairperson and a vice.
Yeah, a vice chair. So it'd be chairman and vice chair.
Okay.
I would say that I would rather be involved in discussions rather than lead them. I'd recommend Barbara because I've served on the Board of Adjustment with her.
I would
And she did a good job.
Okay, so Barbara as chairman and
you just gotta have somebody who has the time to plan everything.
We need somebody neutral because if people want to throw out amendments or discuss things, we need to guide the discussion.
As the chairperson and
Say that
Lacey
again?
Wolf as the vice chair.
Is anybody keeping track?
I'm sorry, but
I think let's just do chair.
Yes,
Let's
Greg
just do
Harrington
chair
for chair,
first.
and then Lacey Wolf.
okay, my motion was first though, so.
Just one moment, we have two nominations for chair. Except, Sam, did you withdraw yourself?
Yeah, can we change that nomination to Barbara?
And I'll change it to Barbara as chairman.
Two nominations
and,
for chair, Barbara
and
and Gregory.
Yeah.
And vice chair were
Lacey.
Lacey
And Jim.
and Jim.
Yeah.
I like to throw my hat in the ring.
For vice chair?
Mhm.
So we have three for vice chair.
I like to recommend Jim for chair. I think the chairman should be someone who has some experience with
Jim's
this.
also the chair.
Who's all been?
I kind of like the new wave.
Okay.
Find someone who's not
Wait,
experienced.
hold on. Let me help you out. There have been three recommendations for chair.
Okay.
Barbara, Jim McDonald, Gregory.
Any other nominations for chair?
Somebody nominate me.
Okay, none. How do you prefer to do nominations?
Before we vote, could we maybe have the people who are nominated, discuss how they would serve as chair and what their
Great.
philosophy
Yes.
is? Or?
Yes.
Do they even want to
That's
be
why
chair?
Sam should be chair, but no.
First thing we need is somebody to work the thermostat.
No, that's a great idea. So, can we start with you, Jim, with chair, as chair? Would you like to be chair?
Sure. I would be honored to serve in the role of chair another time. I think the critical part about being chairman, to Sam's point, is not to discuss but to listen. Right. The chair is there to kind of manage the schedule. Last year we divided up the charter into chunks. Like some parts of the charter are like one paragraph, so you can group and do like 3 or 4 at a time, and that way we don't go through it we didn't go through it line by line per se, but those sections were open for comments, so everyone could study those and bring their thoughts there, and then we had time to bring additional ideas in. I think last time I presented a very balanced arena in terms of giving everybody equal time to articulate their position and discuss it. And when things started to get repetitive, then it was my job to kind of pull it back and say, okay, we're done, anything new, and then have the vote. And I think that's what you want from a chair, someone who isn't actively trying to push buttons to get people to go one way or the other, but to present the framework and the landscape to have those discussions.
So the job of the chair in any board or commission really is to sit as the presiding, making sure that rules and processes are being followed, that every voice is being heard. You have to remain neutral in your standing, I believe, as a chair. You're not making motions or pushing your agenda or anybody else's. You're making sure that the rest of the commission is getting the job done. It's how I've served every commission I've been on. It's just really making sure that we all are a voice in this room because we're all here to serve together and to put the best charter forward that we can to serve our community. So,
Gregory.
Somebody nominate me?
Yes.
I thought I heard. Okay, so this is kind of the one thing I feel needs to be the outcome. The first phase of what I think should happen is we as a collective need to see where we want Pflugerville to go. If we're fine with how it is, it'd be minimal changes. But regardless of where that is, we then need to say, does this charter reflect that motion and that destination? And so that's just me thinking out loud because the culture of Pflugerville needs to reflect its bylaws and its charter. And so it sounds like there may be an extra meeting that I propose, or maybe I think that's just what it needs to do. And then from there, clearly hear the people who are in this room to make sure that we're reflective of our views, which essentially is reflective of the community as well. And so, and I actually do believe that the leader needs to have some version of an opinion, because, but I'm also that leader that says I don't have a vote until a tie. So I don't know if that's okay for y'all, but that's just me and my opinion. So that's just how I've led a lot of my organizations, and even going through, we've actually had some revisions of bylaws and charter documents, but that's what we want to do. Let's make sure that we have a culture and the charter/bylaw that matches. So
How do you prefer to do votes?
I'd say vote on that first, right?
Yeah, so we'll vote on by order of nomination, and then the first person to get, how many people are here?
16?
16, the first person to get 9.
No.
You don't want to just rip a piece of paper and just pass it out.
That way we're subject to that.
Oh.
So y'all gotta vote out loud. Sorry about that. So who's first nominated?
First nominated was Barbara.
Barbara was first nominated. So we'll just go down the road for the first one. And
we raise it.
And if we can go slightly slowly, I do have to hold everyone's head, so.
Can we just raise our hand?
Can't raise our hand?
Yeah.
Go a lot faster?
You're voting for Barbara.
We can't raise our hand?
Nay.
Nay.
Aye.
Nay.
Aye.
Nay.
Nay.
We can hold both of them.
You
Dolly
vote
is
for
an
Barbara.
aye.
Excuse me?
Gregory was a nay.
I was a nay.
Okay.
You voting for Barbara?
For Barbara, I said yes.
Yeah, aye. Tracy?
I did say aye.
Tracy's an aye.
I mean, I guess.
Courtney an aye.
Aye.
Terry's an aye.
Aye.
Phillips an aye.
Nay.
Lacey's a nay.
I'm saying Barbara.
You're voting for Barbara?
Uh-huh.
That's a aye.
Sherry's an aye.
I don't know what he's talking about.
Nay. Nay.
So she
Tony
got
was a
Eight. Eight.
Split right down the middle.
unless the rest
We voted twice.
unless the rest of the people vote for somebody else.
Okay, so that fails.
Yeah.
That failed. We need 9. Barbara only got 8.
Oh, Lord.
So the next nominated was,
Oh,
no, I thought it was 8 too.
I should have been counting.
I'm gonna do
Jim
my
McDonald.
job.
It was,
Gregory?
next was Gregory.
Gregory was next nominated. Carol is an aye.
Nay.
Rich is a nay.
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 Nay. Nay.
Nay.
Nay.
Aye.
Gregory's an aye.
You can only say aye once, right?
No, you can say aye as many times as you want.
It's like a new motion.
Aye.
Aye.
Yes.
Charlie's an aye.
Going.
Terry's a nay.
Nay.
Barbara's a nay.
Nay.
This is
Terry's a nay.
Nay.
Phil's a nay.
Nay.
Lacey's a nay. 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 We have 3 ayes.
So there's a. Why don't we just do it?
Okay.
You can't do it just like the alley.
Jim McDonald's next. Are you ready? Ready? Let's do it. Carol. Aye.
Aye.
Here's your aye.
Who we voting
Nay.
for?
Nay for Jim.
Aye.
Aye for James.
Nay.
Nay for Sam.
Aye.
Aye for Josh.
Aye.
Aye for Gregory.
We can pause for just a second.
Nay.
Josh, I'm so sorry.
Aye.
Yes.
Josh was a aye.
And then
Larry was an aye.
Nay.
John is a nay. Tracy?
Aye.
Aye.
Nay.
Barbara's a nay.
Nay.
Terry's a nay.
Aye.
Aye. Tracy? Lacey? Aye.
Nay.
Sherry? Nay.
Aye.
Nancy? Aye. Jim?
Aye.
Do we have to do all our votes like that?
Okay. Jim, I'm now gonna hand it off to you because you are officially the chair.
All right.
Can I make a request? I'm so cold, my teeth are chattering. Can you not do something about that?
See, told you.
I very literally cannot.
Okay.
It feels like the
You have
AC
to
is
bring
on.
this
I'm getting a
Sorry about that.
It is very
Do we have
chilly.
access to the bathroom?
So
Got another jacket.
I'll propose
sweater,
a
but I'm
10-minute
just-
recess for
the
bathroom
sweater
breaks,
is
and water breaks and whatnot.
How much
I'll
more
second
time
that.
we- how much more time we got?
How much?
Recess, also no talking about.
Right.
How much more time we got?
Time is.
as much as we want.
I'm talking about on the agenda.
It's still, I'm just.
Oh, I don't think it's time. I think it's just.
However long we take any meeting.
Chris, that time is 7:59.
He has this free.
So that's his choice. You wear shorts on the cold
It's coffee.
Okay.
I parked down at the end so that don't get door dings.
So now they're all like hanging out.
So my oldest is a junior right now, and I really I don't know if it's COVID exactly.
Coffee will work. Coffee will work.
They'll come home and tell me as a sophomore.
Medicine for it. I don't know why. I don't know what I ate today.
That's like middle school bullying. You shouldn't like.
Now we're gonna have it till I go to sleep. About 2 hours in.
They haven't figured it out.
No, I don't think
They're like me.
I'll be sure.
They're accidentally really mean.
Yeah, I don't think sugar because I'm diabetic. But
Yeah, I think the screens hurt them too. But I'm just like when kids tell me stories. And
no, it's not coffee. I've been drinking that since I was 6. There you go. Now we know. No, that goes along with diabetes. You can have that either.
Not going out. They just don't want to go to bars. They don't go hang out
Well, they want to get out there. So fortunately, my kids still want their licenses.
Global, local, and
Out,
state.
and I'm like, yes, I want you to have some drive for industry.
Yeah, they'll just go home and play games or something. They don't go to their friend's house. They don't do,
Let's finish up item 4B, the election of vice chair, trustee nominations.
Guys, do you feel like Jim's got the powers going to his head a little bit on this?
He look like he cold. That's what it look like.
Focusing my heat.
So vice chair, we had Jim McDonald, Lacey Wolf, and Sherry Marshall.
I'll decline my nominations for vice chair. Are there any other nominations for vice chair?
I'll throw Barbara out again just because that's probably the second most experience here.
I second that.
Can I hear what the experience is of
That's
this?
next.
Okay.
All right, in the order of their nomination, let's get a little rundown on why you want to be vice chair and how you're going to do a great job.
So Lacey.
Well, I've already said I don't have experience in city government, but I do think I can be a open-minded person who will listen to and think about the future of Pflugerville.
And then we have Sherry.
I have worked with MBE, WBE for the city of Austin for 3 years. And so I do have some experience, but my job would actually be to be the best vice co-chair, a co-chair that I could be, working directly with the chair and just making sure we both listen to what you have to say and take everybody's opinion as they come and just work through that.
And then Barbara.
Working with the chair to accomplish what we're here to do, right? That's the making sure everybody's being heard, making sure that, everybody's listening to each other respectfully and all of it to get through the agenda. I mean, like I said, I've been on boards and commissions, so understanding basic rule of procedure. I've worked for the state for many years. All of it, just to help in any way I can.
Everybody got on a coat.
It's freaking cold in here.
We'll do the voting in the same order we did last time to keep it simple for you.
Yes, please. So this first one would be for Lacey.
So votes aye or nay for Lacey.
Aye.
Nay.
Aye.
Aye.
Nay.
Aye.
If we can pause for just 1 second. Sam, that was...
Nay.
Thank you. And then Josh?
Aye.
Okay, thank you.
Nay.
Nay.
Aye. Nay.
Right.
Aye.
Aye.
Nay.
Aye.
Aye.
Gotta be now.
I have 8. Hold on. And then type everything all the way out.
So if she reaches 9, we ain't voting anymore.
Yeah, this is like
6, 7, 8, 9. Because I had Nancy's a letter in the form.
We have 9.
We have 9.
We have nine.
Yes,
Vice
so
chair.
Lacey has been elected.
Congratulations.
That looks like that closes 4B. 4C, to establish a rules procedure for the Charter Review Commission. We have a sheet. If anyone wants to take a chance to review that, read it, it's pretty straightforward.
That obviously needs to be changed to 9 members, not 10.
Yeah, so there are 2 legal changes needed on this, which is the number of quorum and then also the specifics about agenda posting. That law has changed. The other one is about the agenda posting details. The law has changed on when I'm supposed to post. You won't have to worry about that. It will be changed on the procedures.
Does this need to be any more detailed as far as like how we do things, or are we just going to leave that kind of open to?
So it's generally kind of open, right? There's not a lot of structure in terms of us making, other than we show up for civil and we, discuss the things that are on the agenda.
Right.
I don't think we need to reprint Robert's rules.
No.
I don't know how to follow Robert's rules. I would need someone to interpret that. Is there anything specific?
No, I was just wondering if it was.
You were like hoping more guardrails for?
Well, is this where we would establish how we're going to break it down and how we want to approach reviewing each section or line by line or bring your interest area or?
That's kind of what I was asking, but at the same time, I think if it's open, then that can be very much like we can just discuss as we go, rather than kind of. I guess the question was, do we need to formalize that, or do we just kind of figure as we go?
And I think the benefit of the ambiguity for what it is allows us, if there's a snowpocalypse day, we can't meet or something, and if that agenda was codified in the rules of conduct. So it works better if it's by discussion and affirmative approval, right? Kind of an ongoing committee decision. This is what are we going to do next?
I do have a question. If there is a snow apocalypse day, is there a rescheduled date, or do we just miss that date?
Reschedule.
I would want to move to reschedule rather than cancel, because we do have a finite number of meetings we can't have.
I agree.
And a minimum that we must have.
We have to meet 5 more times. And then the last meeting, of course, would be with council again to present our recommendations. Any other discussion on the rules before us? Have a motion to adopt?
So moved.
I'll make a motion to adopt it.
I got a yes, Sam?
I didn't say anything, but yeah.
Gregory said
Greg, and
I'll second it.
all right, all in favor of adopting the rules, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Make it easy.
Thank you.
All right, that said, I know it's late, I'm sure we're not ready to start diving into the agenda, into the charter tonight.
I move for adjournment.
My recommendation would be to have the next meeting cover Articles 1 through 3. And then if you have any recommendations for, again, edits, changes, deletions, additions within the construct of those 3 items, please email those to Tristan.
Is there, so that is a question, as we kind of review and get ready, is there, we just work with you and you'll kind of blast the group with the prep? I'm assuming we're not gonna, like, is there any interaction between meetings, or is it really just like?
Only with me.
Only with
Right.
you, and then you will handle all of
Correct.
that then?
Yes.
So Tristan will funnel it all to me, and that way we're not.
Yeah, it says there's not like some spam group text that like blows up, right? Yeah, it could go really
What
quick.
invariably happens is that somebody will group reply to all, and then general election. Yeah, so, and I believe most of the correspondence you send out, you blind card a copy of it.
Yes,
Just
everyone will be
prevent people
BCC'd,
from
yes.
applying.
And so if you do have anything, send it to me, and then it will, I'll provide it to Mr. McDonald, provide it to the rest of the group when I send out the agenda for the next meeting to say, here are some topics that came up, depending on what it is. Otherwise, all discussion will happen within these meetings themselves. You will receive a link to that Open Meetings Act training, which will explain a lot of why I'm saying these things, that you can't have a quorum talking outside of a public place like this that's been posted for the meeting.
So just clarification, because I'm not an email person, I'm a text person. I can expect a text from you regarding the agenda.
An email.
An email,
Yes,
I'm sorry.
it does have to be by
I told you I'm
email,
not
yes.
an email person. An email from you regarding the agenda, but not issues for discussion. We won't get those until we come.
So it perhaps kind of depends, because you don't have to send it to me first. If you have something to discuss on one of the articles, you can just bring it up when that item comes up in the meeting. It doesn't have to come to me. What should come to me is if there's other materials that you want to provide, or larger staff questions you have about, hey, how does this work, or any sort of information you might want that we would have to collect beforehand. Depending on timing, I may or may not be able to guarantee we have that ready for the meeting, but you can always ask, is my philosophy, and we'll see what we can do. But otherwise, you don't have to send it to me first. It will just perhaps help your chair to guide some of the conversation.
What I would propose, I think this is maybe what Jim's talking about, is that we all send any notes we have on the sections we're going to go over, and maybe even a description of why we want to make those changes. And then if everybody gets those before the meeting, we can all come prepared to discuss whether we agree or disagree.
Okay, so it may come before the meeting.
They can if you want.
Right, I mean, if there's anything specific that you're looking at there and you're saying, wow, this is gonna be a huge thing, and here's what I'm thinking about, and maybe here's some source material, that all, any correspondence all goes to Tristan. The other, go ahead.
So like one of the areas is compensation or qualifications. Can we ask for, that we're gonna review, is Article 3, right?
Right.
Do we review, like, do we bring documents saying this is what other people are being compensated, this is or is that something that we bring here to ask all of us to dive into?
You can bring that with you, or you can send it to Trista for inclusion in the packet.
Okay, but we have to do all that background research if something comes up. Like, there's no one to ask for that information.
Ask me.
Okay,
Ask
so like
me.
we wanted to ask about
Yes.
salaries or stuff like that?
For that, I already have that information. But yeah, always ask me for something like that.
Okay.
And I will let you know if that's something I can reasonably get.
Gotcha.
Or I'll find the staff members who can reasonably get it.
Gotcha.
And we can work
So
from
the
there.
sooner we can get that information to you, the guarantee that it'll be available at our next.
Absolutely.
Do we want to
If
put a
as you read it
deadline
over
on
this
that?
next month, there's something in Article 9 that you're like, ooh, I probably want to talk about this, go ahead and send it to me.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
So at the beginning,
I was going to say, do we want to put like a deadline on like, hey, let's get everything to her by a specific date so that she can be sure to get it to everybody with plenty of time to review it?
Yeah, I mean, I think, rather than put a specific deadline on it, I think understanding that staff has a million other things going on too, and the earlier that you can get your comments or your question to her, the better. And then for all of us to agree that if we get something in later in the cycle and it's not prepared, then we have understanding of, oh, I shouldn't have emailed that on the night before. I don't know anyone who's but yeah,
I'm just like.
we're all intelligent people, and so I think we can set our expectations.
Feel that. Oh, it's the heat warmer.
Now, Barbara, go ahead.
just probably more for y'all. So at the very beginning, we were told we might have a checklist from city staff. When will that be coming of items they might want us to hit?
So that's a great question, and I'll have more for you the next meeting.
Okay.
Anything like that, it would be based on what section you're talking about.
Okay.
Right, so for the next meeting, focusing on sections 1 through 3, of course, there are other sections. I think there's only 11 articles. If there's an article you think needs to be added, let's get that to Trista as soon as possible, so that we can make room for it and we can weigh whether or not it's a heavy thing or it's smaller than a bread box and we can deal with it in a regular meeting.
Do we think Article 3 is going to be a whole meeting in itself? It's a pretty long one, right?
Yeah.
I think
Yeah, but 1 and 2 are pretty much.
Most of it is procedural, and there's not going to be, I don't predict there'll be a lot of changes that we'll have on 9/10 of it. I think the big discussion will come down, we've already got Linda, this, and a couple council members, is going to be compensation for pay. That's my anticipation of what the biggest thing is. I know last time we had a discussion about moving council to a hybrid model. Look to the city of Buda, where they have 3, I want to say they have 4 districts where you have a council member that's specific to your area, and then they have 2 at large and the mayor. So there's 3 at large offices and then 1 specific one for your district. That was the discussion that we held last year, and no one liked it. And so, but it's something that may come up again. But anything that's inside, those are probably the 2 biggest things. Is there anything else that's on anybody's mind that might take up some time?
For council?
If we can pause this conversation,
Yeah, that's
this
deeper
is getting
into
too
it.
specific for what we have posted
You're
on the
right.
agenda.
My apologies. If there is something more specific that you want to talk about within those, please let Trista know so we can allot the appropriate amount of time.
You don't want me to keep my pen, bro? You can have it, though.
We can always extend it
Oh.
if like in the meeting, because I'm just thinking, like, if I'm
You
not
saw me look first,
prepared,
right?
but after during our meeting conversation, we could always say, can we extend this area?
If you're not prepared, you have to sit in the corner.
Will there be a hat option?
You didn't see me looking?
Everyone's like, oh, I gotta go.
No, I just saw you thieving.
Just wanted.
You are not invited to the
I'm coming.
Any other comments or suggestions?
That's the first.
Okay, I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
So
Oh,
we're
January
transparent,
8th, 'cause we
so
need to
if
put that
someone
first.
in my church management has a question about one of these, someone in my church, for example, because I'm very active with my church in the community. If they have a comment about, hey, would you consider bringing this up? We're at liberty to talk to them because we're being transparent. What about council members?
Wait, that's the second question.
Wait, what?
Oh,
So, yes, you can and are, from my perspective,
encouraged
to
to.
talk with as many people in your congregations, your
Right.
social groups,
Okay.
your local favorite restaurant, wherever you're at, right? To have these conversations, and invite people to come. If there's something that they're passionate about, remind them that there's public comment,
It's an
and
open
their
meeting.
3 minutes are welcome just as everyone else's.
Okay.
This process works because of all of our diverse opinions and input and process, but it also works, we're collectors, right? We take advice and input from other people around us that are in our groups and try to get more insight from them. So talk to as many people as you can, just don't talk to each other and don't talk to council.
Okay, there you go. You just hit me.
So if you see each other running away from each other, don't take it personally.
Well, you can talk in
Or
general.
just
You
don't
can't talk about this.
this.
We'll talk about other things.
Stay away from Brotherton, stay away from
Fat chance I'm staying away from Valor.
There, definitely go through and spend the hour on
as
the
we
open meeting
speak.
tab.
Right now.
I'm
And you learn about traveling forums.
What you got on the pit?
But yeah, and you'll learn about social media. Putting something out on social media about what we're doing here can lead to issues as well too. So this is, face-to-face conversations with anyone you want to, except for each other and stuff.
When's our next meeting scheduled?
January 8th.
January 8th?
But it's
Yes.
6 instead of 6:30.
Yes, January 8th at 6 p.m. After that, it's the first Thursday of the month.
Did I make a motion to say
That
revise?
might be, he should have been president.
We're gonna change some things.
Trista, is there anything else procedurally required for us to do? Anyone else have any closing comments?
I move for adjournment.
That's what I'm looking for.
I'll second.
Yes.
Second.
Second. John.
When's our next meeting?
It's on the
All in favor? Aye.
Take a picture of that as all the meeting dates.
Thank you all so much.
I gotta go to the.
And please leave your